Hello and welcome to Sleepy Health. Tonight, we gently turn our attention to a part of the body that is often misunderstood, quietly judged, and yet deeply essential to life itself: fat. As you settle into a comfortable position, allow your breathing to slow, your shoulders to soften, and your awareness to drift inward, toward the subtle layers that protect, nourish, and support you every moment of your life. Fat is not simply something the body stores by accident. It is ancient, purposeful, and wise. Long before modern diets, mirrors, or measurements existed, fat was one of humanity's greatest allies. It carried energy through harsh winters, protected vital organs from injury, insulated the body against cold, and played a silent role in survival across generations. Even now, in the quiet rhythm of your body, fat continues to work patiently, without asking for recognition. Imagine fat as a gentle reservoir, a soft library of stored potential. Each fat cell holds energy captured from sunlight through plants, passed through food, and carefully preserved for moments when the body needs support. This energy is not rushed. It is released slowly, steadily, ensuring that your brain, heart, and muscles never feel abandoned. In this way, fat acts like a calm caretaker, always prepared for uncertainty. Beneath your skin, fat forms a smooth, protective layer called subcutaneous fat. This layer cushions you, softens movement, and helps regulate body temperature. It keeps warmth in when the world is cold and prevents overheating when temperatures rise. Without it, every touch would feel harsher, every movement less forgiving. This layer also plays a role in how your skin looks and feels, contributing to elasticity, smoothness, and resilience over time. Deeper inside the body lies visceral fat, surrounding organs like the liver, intestines, and kidneys. In healthy balance, this fat acts like protective padding, shielding delicate structures from sudden movement or impact. It also communicates with hormones and the immune system, influencing metabolism and inflammation. Problems arise not because fat exists, but because balance is lost, because stress, sleep deprivation, and chronic tension disrupt the body's ancient signals. Fat is deeply connected to hormones. It stores and releases substances like estrogen and leptin, quietly influencing hunger, mood, reproduction, and energy levels. When fat cells sense abundance, they send signals of safety and satisfaction. When they sense scarcity, they encourage conservation. This hormonal dialogue is subtle, continuous, and sensitive to lifestyle, sleep, nutrition, and emotional state. Your brain itself is rich in fat. Nearly 60% of the brain's dry weight is fat, forming the myelin sheaths that insulate neurons and allow electrical signals to travel smoothly and quickly. Without fat, thoughts would slow, memory would blur, and coordination would falter. Every moment of clarity, every smooth movement, every quiet realization depends on healthy fats nourishing neural pathways. Fat also plays a role in emotion. It responds to stress hormones like cortisol, often expanding during prolonged periods of emotional strain. This is not a failure of willpower, but a protective response, an attempt by the body to prepare for perceived danger. When stress lingers, fat listens. When calm returns, fat can soften its grip. This is why rest, safety, and emotional regulation are as important as food itself. Different fats behave differently within the body. Some fats remain stable, supporting cellular health and hormone balance. Others become inflammatory when consumed excessively or in isolation. But even here, fat is not the enemy. It is context that matters: balance, rhythm, the way food, movement, sleep, and emotion align over time. As you breathe slowly, imagine fat cells as gentle spheres of light, floating peacefully, communicating quietly with your nervous system. They are not heavy. They are not hostile. They are responsive, adaptive, and deeply intelligent. When the body feels safe, these cells relax. When the body feels threatened, they hold on. Safety is the language they understand best. Movement speaks to fat in a calm, reassuring way. Gentle walking, stretching, and steady exercise encourage fat to release energy without stress. Extreme force or punishment only increases tension. Fat responds better to kindness than to aggression, to consistency rather than urgency. Sleep, too, is essential. During deep sleep, hormonal signals reset. Appetite hormones rebalance. Fat storage and release find harmony again. Without sleep, the body misreads signals, clings to reserves, and remains on alert. With sleep, fat remembers that it can trust the world again. Even temperature affects fat. Brown fat, a special type of fat tissue, generates heat and supports metabolic health. It activates in cooler environments, gently warming the body without shivering. This ancient mechanism reminds us that fat is not passive. It participates actively in survival, comfort, and balance. As time passes, fat distribution changes. In youth, it supports growth and development. In adulthood, it stabilizes hormones and energy. With age, it shifts again, responding to changing needs. These changes are not mistakes. They are adaptations, reflections of time lived and experiences carried. As you rest here, let go of harsh stories you may have been told about fat. Instead, allow a quieter truth to emerge. Fat is part of your body's intelligence. It remembers scarcity, protects abundance, cushions vulnerability, and supports life in ways that rarely draw attention. In this calm moment, your body is not asking to be fixed. It is asking to be understood. And as understanding grows, tension softens, breath deepens, signals quiet. Fat, like every other system in your body, settles into a gentler rhythm when it feels respected. As your breathing remains slow and unforced, it becomes easier to sense how fat exists not as a single thing, but as a living environment within the body. It creates conditions. It shapes temperature. It influences how signals travel. It affects how long energy lasts, how stable your mood feels, how resilient you remain during long days and quiet nights. Fat works in gradients, not extremes. It does not switch on or off. It adjusts, fine-tuning itself in response to countless small cues. Within fat tissue, blood vessels branch delicately, delivering oxygen and nutrients, carrying away waste. This circulation keeps fat alive and responsive. When circulation is steady, fat remains soft and adaptable. When circulation is restricted by prolonged stillness, tension, or shallow breathing, fat can feel dense, heavy, unyielding. This is why gentle movement matters. Not to burn, not to punish, but to remind tissues that flow still exists. Fat also interacts with connective tissue, the fascia that wraps muscles and organs like a quiet web. Together, fat and fascia allow the body to glide instead of grind. They reduce friction between layers, making movement smoother, more efficient, more comfortable. When hydration is low or stress is high, this sliding becomes restricted. The body feels stiff. Fat feels less forgiving. Restoring ease restores softness. In colder environments, fat helps maintain internal warmth, preserving core temperature so the brain and heart remain stable. In warmer conditions, fat helps regulate heat loss, working with sweat and blood flow to prevent overheating. These adjustments happen automatically, without conscious effort, guided by ancient reflexes that evolved long before modern comforts. Fat is also deeply involved in recovery. After illness, injury, or prolonged stress, the body relies on stored energy to rebuild tissue, support immune responses, and restore balance. During these times, fat becomes a reserve of patience, allowing healing to unfold without urgency. Rushing recovery confuses this process. Allowing time supports it. Even appetite is shaped by fat's communication with the brain. Signals rise and fall depending on energy availability, emotional state, and circadian rhythm. When these signals are ignored repeatedly, confusion grows. Hunger becomes louder or quieter than it should be. Fat does not malfunction on its own. It reacts to mixed messages. Clear rhythms bring clarity back. Nighttime plays a special role here. As darkness settles, hormonal patterns shift. Insulin sensitivity changes. Growth hormone increases. Fat tissue responds to these signals, adjusting how energy is stored and released. This is why consistent sleep aligns fat metabolism more effectively than constant control during waking hours. Rest recalibrates what effort cannot. Fat also reflects environment. Chronic noise, artificial light, emotional pressure, and constant stimulation keep the nervous system alert. Fat mirrors this alertness. Calm environments invite a different response. Dim light. Slow evenings. Gentle routines. These conditions allow fat to behave differently, to soften its vigilance, to cooperate rather than guard. There is also individuality. Genetics influence how fat is distributed, how quickly it responds, how it communicates hormonally. These differences are not flaws. They are variations shaped by ancestry, climate, and survival patterns passed quietly through generations. Comparing bodies ignores this complexity. Understanding it restores respect. As you remain still, you may notice warmth in certain areas, heaviness in others, a sense of groundedness spreading gradually. These sensations are not random. They reflect circulation, relaxation, parasympathetic activity. They reflect a body that is no longer preparing for immediate action. Fat recognizes this state. It adjusts its internal signals accordingly. Nothing here requires effort. No correction is needed. Fat does not demand attention to change. It responds best when the body feels allowed to exist without constant evaluation. Neutrality is powerful. Calm observation is powerful. Safety is powerful. Fat is often misunderstood, yet it is one of the most ancient and essential substances in the human body. Long before modern diets and labels existed, fat quietly supported survival. It stored energy for cold nights, protected fragile organs, and allowed the brain to develop its remarkable complexity. In the soft background of human biology, fat has always worked silently, patiently, never asking for attention. At its core, fat is energy preserved in physical form. When food is abundant, the body transforms excess fuel into tiny droplets of stored potential. These droplets gather inside specialized cells, waiting calmly for a moment of need. During sleep, fasting, or long periods of exertion, fat releases its energy slowly, like a candle burning at a steady pace. This slow release is what makes fat such a reliable companion. It does not rush, and it does not disappear suddenly. Beyond energy, fat creates warmth. A thin layer beneath the skin acts as insulation, helping the body maintain a stable internal temperature. In cold environments, this layer becomes a quiet shield, reducing heat loss and conserving precious warmth. Even in mild climates, this thermal role supports the nervous system, muscles, and vital organs, allowing them to function without stress or shock. Fat also serves as a protector. Soft cushions of fatty tissue surround delicate structures such as the kidneys, eyes, and heart. These cushions absorb impact, soften movement, and reduce mechanical strain. Each step, each breath, each subtle motion is gently supported by this hidden padding. Without it, the body would feel exposed, vulnerable, and rigid. On a deeper level, fat plays a crucial role in communication inside the body. Many hormones are produced, stored, or regulated through fatty tissue. These chemical messengers influence hunger, mood, growth, sleep, and even emotional balance. Fat-soluble vitamins such as vitamins A, D, E, and K depend on fat for absorption. Without adequate fat, these nutrients pass through unnoticed, unable to reach the cells that need them. The brain itself is rich in fat. Neurons are wrapped in a fatty coating called myelin, which allows electrical signals to travel smoothly and efficiently. This insulation increases speed, clarity, and coordination. Thought, memory, reflexes, and learning all rely on this fatty layer. When it is damaged or weakened, signals slow down, become distorted, or fade entirely. There are different kinds of fat, each with its own quiet personality. Some fats remain flexible and fluid, supporting cell membranes and allowing cells to adapt to change. Others are more rigid, designed for long-term storage and stability. The balance between these types shapes metabolism, endurance, and resilience. When harmony exists, the body feels calm, steady, and well-regulated. As the body ages, fat distribution slowly changes. In youth, fat tends to be more evenly spread, supporting growth and hormonal balance. Over time, it may migrate, thin out in some areas, and accumulate in others. These shifts influence posture, energy levels, and sensitivity to temperature. They also interact with the nervous system, altering how signals are processed and how stress is perceived. Fat is not an enemy, nor is it a flaw. It is a living archive of survival, memory, and adaptation. Every cell that holds fat remembers a time when energy was precious and uncertainty was constant. Even today, in a world of abundance, fat continues to perform its ancient duties, quietly regulating, protecting, insulating, and sustaining. As the body rests, fat continues its slow, rhythmic work. It releases fuel in measured amounts, supports hormonal cycles, and stabilizes internal systems. There is no urgency in its behavior, only patience. In this stillness, fat reminds us that health is not always about speed or control, but about balance, softness, and quiet strength. Fat is not simply excess weight or stored food. Biologically, fat is a living tissue, active and responsive, quietly interacting with nearly every system in the body. It is made of specialized cells called adipocytes, which expand and shrink depending on energy availability. These cells listen carefully to hormones, nutrients, stress signals, and even sleep patterns. Fat, in this sense, is not passive storage. It is a dynamic participant in survival. Fat becomes good when it exists in balance. In moderate amounts, it supports hormonal stability, cushions organs, regulates body temperature, and ensures long-term energy availability. It allows the body to remain calm during fasting, illness, or emotional stress. Fat also supports fertility, immune responses, and brain health. Without enough fat, the body may feel fragile, easily exhausted, and hormonally unstable. However, fat can become harmful when it accumulates beyond the body's ability to manage it. Excess fat, especially around internal organs, begins to change its behavior. Instead of quietly storing energy, it releases inflammatory signals. These signals can interfere with insulin sensitivity, blood vessel flexibility, and nervous system regulation. Over time, this may increase the risk of metabolic disorders, cardiovascular strain, and chronic fatigue. The problem is not fat itself, but where it is stored and how it behaves. Subcutaneous fat, which lies just beneath the skin, is generally less harmful and often protective. Visceral fat, which surrounds organs deep inside the abdomen, is more metabolically active and more likely to disrupt internal balance. The body reacts very differently to these two forms, even if they appear similar from the outside. Now, consider lean bodies. Lean individuals often have lower fat reserves and higher muscle proportion. Their metabolism may respond quickly to food intake and physical activity. Movements feel lighter, heat dissipates more rapidly, and insulin sensitivity is often higher. However, extreme leanness can come with vulnerabilities. Low fat levels may reduce hormonal buffering, decrease tolerance to cold, and make the nervous system more sensitive to stress. In some cases, sleep becomes lighter and recovery slower. In contrast, bodies with higher fat stores tend to conserve energy more efficiently. They often tolerate fasting better and maintain warmth more easily. The nervous system may feel more insulated from short-term stress. Yet, when fat exceeds healthy limits, this efficiency turns into resistance. Signals become muted, responses slow, and the body struggles to shift between states of rest and activity. Fat begins to dominate regulation rather than support it. Neither body type is inherently superior. A lean body may excel in agility and metabolic speed, while a body with more fat may excel in endurance and energy preservation. Health exists not in appearance, but in internal coordination, how well fat communicates with muscles, hormones, blood vessels, and the brain. Social perception often oversimplifies fat, labeling it as failure or excess. Biology sees it differently. Fat is context-dependent. In times of scarcity, it is life-saving. In times of abundance, it requires discipline and balance. The body does not judge fat, it responds to signals it receives: food quality, movement, stress, sleep, and emotional safety. As the body rests, fat continues to interpret these signals. It decides whether to store, release, protect, or warn. When harmony exists, fat remains quiet and supportive. When imbalance grows, fat speaks louder through inflammation, fatigue, or discomfort. Understanding fat is not about fear or control. It is about listening. Listening to how the body stores energy, how it copes with stress, and how it prepares for uncertainty. In this quiet awareness, fat becomes not an enemy, but a message, a soft, biological reminder of balance, patience, and survival. Fat is not simply excess weight or stored food. Biologically, fat is a living tissue, active and responsive, quietly interacting with nearly every system in the body. It is made of specialized cells called adipocytes, which expand and shrink depending on energy availability. These cells listen carefully to hormones, nutrients, stress signals, and even sleep patterns. Fat, in this sense, is not passive storage. It is a dynamic participant in survival. Fat becomes good when it exists in balance. In moderate amounts, it supports hormonal stability, cushions organs, regulates body temperature, and ensures long-term energy availability. It allows the body to remain calm during fasting, illness, or emotional stress. Fat also supports fertility, immune responses, and brain health. Without enough fat, the body may feel fragile, easily exhausted, and hormonally unstable. However, fat can become harmful when it accumulates beyond the body's ability to manage it. Excess fat, especially around internal organs, begins to change its behavior. Instead of quietly storing energy, it releases inflammatory signals. These signals can interfere with insulin sensitivity, blood vessel flexibility, and nervous system regulation. Over time, this may increase the risk of metabolic disorders, cardiovascular strain, and chronic fatigue. The problem is not fat itself, but where it is stored and how it behaves. Subcutaneous fat, which lies just beneath the skin, is generally less harmful and often protective. Visceral fat, which surrounds organs deep inside the abdomen, is more metabolically active and more likely to disrupt internal balance. The body reacts very differently to these two forms, even if they appear similar from the outside. Now, consider lean bodies. Lean individuals often have lower fat reserves and higher muscle proportion. Their metabolism may respond quickly to food intake and physical activity. Movements feel lighter, heat dissipates more rapidly, and insulin sensitivity is often higher. However, extreme leanness can come with vulnerabilities. Low fat levels may reduce hormonal buffering, decrease tolerance to cold, and make the nervous system more sensitive to stress. In some cases, sleep becomes lighter and recovery slower. In contrast, bodies with higher fat stores tend to conserve energy more efficiently. They often tolerate fasting better and maintain warmth more easily. The nervous system may feel more insulated from short-term stress. Yet, when fat exceeds healthy limits, this efficiency turns into resistance. Signals become muted, responses slow, and the body struggles to shift between states of rest and activity. Fat begins to dominate regulation rather than support it. Neither body type is inherently superior. A lean body may excel in agility and metabolic speed, while a body with more fat may excel in endurance and energy preservation. Health exists not in appearance, but in internal coordination, how well fat communicates with muscles, hormones, blood vessels, and the brain. Social perception often oversimplifies fat, labeling it as failure or excess. Biology sees it differently. Fat is context-dependent. In times of scarcity, it is life-saving. In times of abundance, it requires discipline and balance. The body does not judge fat, it responds to signals it receives: food quality, movement, stress, sleep, and emotional safety. As the body rests, fat continues to interpret these signals. It decides whether to store, release, protect, or warn. When harmony exists, fat remains quiet and supportive. When imbalance grows, fat speaks louder through inflammation, fatigue, or discomfort. Understanding fat is not about fear or control. It is about listening to how the body stores energy, how it copes with stress, and how it prepares for uncertainty. In this quiet awareness, fat becomes not an enemy, but a message, a soft, biological reminder of balance, patience, and survival. Fat does not appear suddenly. It accumulates gradually, shaped by habits that repeat quietly over time. Small portions eaten late at night, long hours of sitting, interrupted sleep, constant mental tension, none of these feel dramatic on their own. Yet fat responds patiently, adapting to protect the body from uncertainty. When stress becomes chronic, fat learns to stay. When sleep is shallow, fat hesitates to leave. It is not stubbornness, it is caution. Fat also interacts deeply with the brain and nervous system. It produces hormones such as leptin and adiponectin, which help regulate hunger, fullness, and energy use. In a balanced body, these signals move smoothly, like whispers passing from cell to cell. But when fat tissue grows excessive, these signals grow noisy and confused. Hunger no longer matches need. Fullness arrives late. The brain receives mixed messages and responds with cravings rather than clarity. In lean bodies, these signals often travel faster and more cleanly. Hunger rises quickly and fades quickly. Energy shifts are sharp and noticeable, yet this speed can come at a cost. Without sufficient fat reserves, the brain may interpret minor stress as danger. Cortisol rises more easily. The body enters alertness instead of rest. Sleep becomes lighter, dreams more fragmented, recovery less complete. Bodies with higher fat levels experience the opposite rhythm. Signals move more slowly. Energy feels steadier, but transitions are harder. Waking up may feel heavy. Physical effort may require more mental preparation. The body resists sudden change, preferring predictability. Again, this is not weakness. It is a different strategy for survival. Fat also plays a role in inflammation, acting like a quiet regulator. In healthy amounts, it supports immune responses and tissue repair. But when fat becomes excessive, it may remain slightly inflamed at all times. This low-grade inflammation is subtle, often unnoticed, yet it can slowly affect joints, blood vessels, and even mood. Fatigue appears without clear cause. The body feels older than it is. Importantly, fat responds not only to food and movement, but to emotional safety. When a person feels constantly rushed, judged, or insecure, the body prepares for scarcity, even in abundance. Fat stores increase as a form of insurance. When life feels predictable, calm, and supported, fat feels safer, releasing energy. In this way, emotional rest is as important as physical exercise. As night arrives and the body lies still, fat becomes active in a different way. During deep sleep, hormones shift, inflammation lowers, and fat metabolism changes pace. This is why poor sleep often leads to fat retention, and why restorative sleep gently corrects imbalance without force. The body heals fat regulation not through punishment, but through rest. Over time, health emerges when fat, muscle, and nervous system move in agreement. Not too fast, not too slow, not rigid, not chaotic. Fat remains present but quiet, supportive rather than demanding. And so fat is not a flaw to eliminate, nor a burden to carry endlessly. It is a biological memory of stress, comfort, survival, and adaptation. When understood with patience, fat softens its grip. When the body feels safe, heard, and rested, fat no longer needs to protect so fiercely. As time passes, fat begins to reflect not only biology but lifestyle rhythm. Bodies that move naturally throughout the day, walking, stretching, shifting positions, speak a quiet language to fat cells. They signal safety, consistency, and flow. Fat responds by staying flexible, ready to release energy when needed and to store only what is necessary. In contrast, long periods of stillness confuse this dialogue. Fat cells remain alert, uncertain, holding on just in case movement never comes. Fat also shapes how the body experiences temperature. It insulates, preserving warmth during rest and sleep. This is why people with lower fat levels often feel colder at night, while those with higher fat levels retain heat more easily. During deep sleep, this insulation helps stabilize internal temperature, allowing the brain to descend more fully into restorative stages. Yet excess insulation can disrupt this balance, causing night sweats or restless turning, subtly interrupting sleep cycles. There's also a quiet connection between fat and memory. Fat-soluble vitamins, a D, E, and K, dissolve and travel through fat tissue, supporting vision, immunity, bone strength, and neural health. Without sufficient fat, these nutrients drift away unused. With too much fat, they may linger unevenly. Balance allows these nutrients to move smoothly, nourishing the body without excess or deficiency. Over years, fat distribution changes. Youthful bodies often store fat more evenly, softly supporting growth and repair. With age, fat begins to shift inward, surrounding organs, responding to hormonal changes and slower metabolism. This internal fat is more active, more influential, and more sensitive to stress and sleep quality. It listens closely to nightly rest. Poor sleep encourages it to grow. Consistent sleep gently persuades it to retreat. Lean bodies and fuller bodies also differ in energy perception. Lean individuals may feel energy as sharp peaks and sudden drops. Hunger arrives clearly, sometimes urgently. Fat provides fewer buffers. Fuller bodies often experience energy as a long, slow wave. Hunger creeps in quietly. Satiety lingers. Neither experience is superior. They are adaptations shaped by genetics, history, and environment. What softens fat's hold is not force, but regular calm. Predictable meals, gentle movement, unbroken sleep, emotional safety. When these align, fat slowly reorganizes itself, responding not to fear but to trust. The body stops preparing for emergency and begins maintaining harmony. At rest, as breathing deepens and muscles release, fat tissue participates silently. Blood flow shifts. Inflammation eases. Hormones rebalance. Nothing dramatic happens, and that is the sign of health. Quiet systems working without interruption. As the body sinks even further into rest, fat continues its quiet work without drawing attention to itself, responding to slow breathing and steady heart rhythms, sensing that the environment is safe enough to release what it has been holding. In this softened state, Fat cells stop sending urgent signals and begin listening instead, adjusting hormone messages, calming inflammation, and allowing energy to circulate gently rather than remain stored away. This is where balance reveals itself, not in appearance, not in numbers, but in how effortlessly the body maintains itself through the night. Fat becomes a stabilizer, cushioning organs, protecting nerves, supporting hormones that regulate mood, appetite, and sleep, all while remaining silent and unseen. When stress fades, fat no longer tightens its grip, no longer prepares for scarcity, and slowly learns that nourishment arrives regularly, that rest is predictable, that movement will return. Over time, this trust reshapes the body in subtle ways, smoothing sharp fluctuations, softening extremes, and creating a steady internal climate where systems communicate without urgency. In lean bodies, this balance prevents depletion, protecting the brain and nervous system from constant hunger signals. In fuller bodies, it allows excess to ease away naturally, without resistance, without strain. Fat does not respond to punishment or pressure. It responds to rhythm. Rhythm of sleep, rhythm of meals, rhythm of calm days and gentle nights. As awareness drifts, the body remembers this ancient pattern, one shaped long before modern life, when rest followed effort and effort followed rest. In this remembering, fat relaxes, metabolism steadies, and the body settles into a quiet agreement with itself. Nothing needs to change right now. Nothing needs to be forced. The systems are already adjusting, already aligning, already finding their way back to equilibrium as breath flows slowly, evenly, peacefully, carrying the body deeper into rest where healing happens without effort and balance, restores itself one calm moment at a time. As you continue to drift deeper into this inner exploration, imagine the intricate network of fat within your body as a living, breathing landscape, responsive and dynamic, yet patient. It stretches beneath the skin, wraps gently around organs, cushions joints, and threads through the spaces between muscles, a soft and protective framework that often goes unnoticed until it is out of balance. In lean bodies, fat is present just enough to support energy regulation and hormone balance, maintaining a quiet equilibrium. In fuller bodies, it is more abundant, but it is not a threat. It is simply carrying the memory of your life, of nourishment, of stress, of activity, and of rest. Every cell is aware, sensing nutrients, oxygen, and signals from your nervous system, adjusting accordingly, recalibrating according to need, responding not to fear but to rhythm, to safety, to presence. As you breathe, picture these fat cells interacting with your bloodstream, releasing and absorbing signals of energy and calm, influencing insulin, leptin, and other hormones that quietly regulate hunger, satiety, and mood. Imagine the tiny chemical messengers traveling like gentle whispers, conveying reassurance and stability throughout your body, allowing organs and muscles to function smoothly without unnecessary tension. Fat is not lazy. Fat is a historian, recording patterns of activity, storing memory of movement, nutrition, and even emotions. It responds to your care, to your awareness, and to the gentle packing of your day. And tonight, as you rest, it listens carefully, releasing unnecessary tension, softening hardened edges, and allowing energy to flow more freely through your veins and nerves. Consider how fat interacts with temperature regulation, insulating your body during cooler nights, distributing warmth evenly, and buffering sudden shifts that might disrupt comfort. Visualize the slow, methodical adjustments happening right now, invisible to your conscious mind, yet perceptible in a subtle easing of tension, a gentle loosening of muscles, a softening of the heartbeat. In this state, fat collaborates with muscles, liver, pancreas, and brain, forming a silent network of communication that sustains life, protects vital systems, and preserves energy for when it is truly needed. Lean bodies may experience swifter shifts, more responsive metabolism, while bodies with more fat may hold longer reserves, a form of quiet resilience honed over millennia. As awareness expands, notice the historical patterns stored within these cells, the ancestral whispers of feast and famine, of movement and stillness, of warmth and cold. Fat remembers, not with judgment but with precise memory, adjusting supply and storage according to the perceived environment. Tonight, there is no threat, no urgency, only the rhythm of calm breathing, a pulse of security, a flow of trust. Fat releases old tension, allows chemical balance to restore, and participates in the orchestration of health with elegance and patience. Inhale deeply, sensing this balance spreading from core to periphery, from the smallest cell to the broadest tissue, connecting body and mind in a gentle, flowing dialogue. Exhale slowly, feeling the body soften, the systems harmonize, and the knowledge that you are whole, that healing is ongoing, and that balance is returning with each moment of attentive presence. This is the quiet power of fat, the subtle guide, the silent caretaker, responding not to external judgment, but to the internal rhythm of life, to the steady cadence of your breath, to the gentle surrender to rest. As you drift further into this awareness, feel the soft hum of equilibrium, the gentle ebb and flow of energy, and the deep, reassuring knowledge that your body, in all its layers, is adjusting, restoring, and nurturing itself in perfect harmony with your presence and care. As you continue to sink gently into this awareness, picture the layers of fat in your body like soft, undulating landscapes, each with its own character, purpose, and rhythm. Just beneath the skin lies the subcutaneous layer, warm and protective, cushioning every movement, responding to shifts in posture, to the gentle stretching of muscles, to the subtle pulse of blood beneath. Below that, imagine the visceral fat, nestled quietly around organs like a careful guardian, absorbing shocks, regulating temperature, and storing energy for moments when it is truly needed. These layers are not isolated. They communicate, they adapt, they respond to your diet, your activity, your stress levels, and even your emotions. Lean bodies have thinner, more responsive layers that adjust quickly to changes, while bodies with more fat carry broader layers that act as reservoirs, silently managing the flow of energy through every cell, every tissue, every organ. Now drift into the landscape of nutrition, imagining how different foods interact with these fat layers. Foods high in fat, like oils, nuts, seeds, butter, and fatty meats, are rich in energy, and they integrate into these layers with precision, storing not just calories but also vitamins and molecules essential for cell function. Some fats, like those found in olive oil, avocados, and fish, are gentle and supportive, nourishing the cells, lubricating joints, and feeding the brain's complex demands. Others, found in processed foods, deep-fried items, and excessive saturated fats, tend to settle more stubbornly, sometimes creating denser patches that require patience and care to balance. Your body interprets these nutrients not as good or bad, but as information, as signals to adjust metabolism, store energy, or release it according to need. Imagine each bite you take traveling through your digestive system, breaking down into molecules that drift into the bloodstream, reaching the fat cells, gently whispering instructions. Fat cells listen, absorb, store, or release, responding to your activity, your rest, and the rhythm of your day. Carbohydrates and proteins interact too, influencing how fat is stored or mobilized, creating a delicate balance that your body maintains even while you sleep. When you rest tonight, your fat cells are not idle. They are quietly metabolizing, maintaining warmth, releasing stored nutrients, and collaborating with your muscles and organs to sustain energy and vitality. Picture the layers in constant dialogue: subcutaneous fat sensing temperature and pressure, visceral fat sensing the body's internal energy, and brown fat, a rarer type, gently producing heat, activating during colder nights or moments of activity. Each layer contributes uniquely, orchestrating an elegant balance that protects, nourishes, and maintains harmony. As you breathe slowly, imagine the gentle adjustments occurring in each layer, the ebb and flow of energy, the quiet recalibration that preserves life, health, and comfort. Fat, in this light, is not just a storage. It is a living, responsive system, a collaborator in health, a patient participant in the rhythm of your body. Now allow your awareness to expand even further, understanding that the quality of fats in your diet influences not only how these layers feel, but also how they function. Omega-3 fatty acids found in fish, flax seeds, and walnuts feed the nervous system and reduce inflammation. Monounsaturated fats found in olives and avocados nourish the heart and stabilize blood sugar. Saturated fats, while essential in small amounts, in excess may create slower-moving deposits in the body, requiring care and balance. Each type of fat communicates differently with your body, your metabolism, and your energy levels, and your fat layers respond accordingly, either with ease or with gentle resistance, always adapting, always listening. Breathe deeply, sensing this intricate network, feeling the soft interplay between subcutaneous, visceral, and brown fat, feeling the nourishment from the food you consume, sensing the balance between energy intake and energy usage. Every cell is alive with subtle messages, every molecule is participating in a silent conversation, and every layer of fat is a participant in the ongoing maintenance of your health and vitality. Tonight, as you drift, let this awareness of fat and nutrition sink gently into your mind, a soft, flowing understanding that balances energy, supports life, and quietly sustains every movement, every thought, every moment of rest. As you continue to drift into this calm exploration, imagine now the delicate ways in which fat interacts with your hormones, quietly influencing mood, energy, and appetite. Fat is not passive. It is a participant in a complex dialogue, producing molecules called adipokines, which send messages to your brain, your muscles, your liver, and your heart. Some of these molecules signal satiety, telling you when your body has enough energy. Others influence insulin sensitivity, gently guiding how sugar flows through your bloodstream, how it nourishes your muscles, and how it is stored in fat. Each moment of stillness, each breath you take, allows your body to process these subtle signals, adjusting, recalibrating, maintaining balance in ways you may never consciously notice. Imagine your body as a gentle ecosystem. The fat layers are a soft, responsive soil, absorbing nutrients, storing energy, and releasing it when the body needs it most. Leaner bodies have less soil but more nimble responses, quickly mobilizing energy for activity, for thought, for movement. Bodies with more fat have a deeper, denser soil, slower to change, but providing a steady reservoir of energy, warmth, and protection. Both systems are natural, both are capable, and both respond to care, attention, and gentle nourishment. Picture now the emotional influence of fat, how it communicates with your nervous system and brain. When you experience stress, your fat cells respond, releasing hormones that can increase energy availability, preparing you for action. When you are calm, these cells relax, absorbing nutrients, storing energy for future moments, participating in the rhythm of your rest and your sleep. The body's responses are subtle, intricate, and beautiful, each layer of fat a participant in the ongoing orchestration of life. Now let your mind travel to the metabolic processes occurring within these cells. Fat is not inert. It is alive with chemical reactions, with signals that affect your entire body. Lipolysis gently releases stored energy when the body demands it, while lipogenesis absorbs energy when intake exceeds immediate need. Fat interacts closely with the liver, muscles, and heart, creating a continuous circulation of energy, nourishment, and support. Every cell, every organ, every tissue participates, and the fat layers respond with patience, with flexibility, with quiet intelligence. Breathe slowly, sensing the heat, the energy, the life within these layers. Imagine brown fat, nestled around the shoulders and spine, quietly producing heat, burning calories even as you rest, helping maintain body temperature, supporting your organs, keeping the internal rhythm steady. Subcutaneous fat cushions every movement, protects against friction, and helps the skin maintain elasticity. Visceral fat surrounds the organs, stabilizing and safeguarding them, participating in immune responses, and maintaining the balance of hormones and energy. Each layer has its role, each layer communicates with precision, and each layer supports your life in ways that are quiet yet profound. As you exhale, imagine excess tension leaving your body, gently melting away in the warmth of awareness. With each inhale, imagine nourishing energy, drawn from the foods you eat, flowing into your fat cells, being absorbed, stored carefully, and prepared to support your body when needed. Fats from fish, nuts, and seeds are like gentle sunlight, warming the soil of your body, helping cells communicate, supporting the brain, muscles, and organs. Saturated fats and processed oils interact differently, sometimes slower to release, sometimes requiring patience and balance to integrate fully. But even these are part of the system, part of the complex conversation that sustains life. Picture now the gentle cycles of energy, how fat stores and releases nutrients according to the day, the activity, the rest, and the sleep of your body. Every night as you drift into deep sleep, fat participates, helping maintain warmth, regulating hormone release, and providing energy for essential processes like cell repair, brain activity, and immune function. This is not something you need to control consciously. It happens naturally, quietly, and efficiently, a soft rhythm that supports your body without effort, without awareness, yet with perfect precision. The relationship between fat and movement is equally profound. Exercise prompts fat cells to release stored energy, gently fueling muscles, joints, and organs. Even small movements, subtle stretches, or slow walking activate these cells, creating a cascade of signals that enhance metabolism, improve circulation, and support your overall health. Fat responds to activity with patience and intelligence, adjusting to your needs, providing what is required, and retreating when it is no longer necessary. As you continue to explore this inner world, notice how your body's awareness of fat can create a new sense of appreciation. Fat is not an enemy, not a burden, but a vital participant in the orchestra of life. It cushions, it nourishes, it protects, it communicates. It responds to your care, your nourishment, your rest, your movement. It is patient, enduring, and infinitely adaptable. Every breath you take strengthens this understanding. Every moment of quiet reflection deepens your connection to your body. Every thought of awareness softens the layers, allowing them to fulfill their purpose with ease. As you continue to drift deeper into this calm, gentle awareness, imagine the long-term relationship your body has with fat, how it subtly guides your health, your energy, and even your longevity. Fat is not merely a storage system. It is an active communicator with your organs, your muscles, and your brain. It sends whispers of information about energy availability, hormone balance, and nutrient status. It quietly influences your metabolism, ensuring that each day, each activity, each movement has the energy it requires. In leaner individuals, these signals may respond more quickly, creating swift bursts of energy when needed, while in bodies with more fat, the signals carry a deeper steadiness, providing a gentle reservoir that sustains over longer periods. Both are natural, both are valuable, and both respond to care. Movement and nourishment. Picture now the cardiovascular system, how fat interacts with your heart, your veins, and your arteries. Subcutaneous fat cushions the blood vessels, providing a soft layer of protection, while visceral fat, which surrounds the organs, participates in a complex balance of hormone signaling, immune response, and nutrient storage. Fat cells release molecules that influence inflammation, that guide the repair of tissues, that communicate with insulin and other hormones, subtly orchestrating your body's internal rhythm. These interactions are delicate, continuous, and precise, operating quietly beneath the surface, ensuring your body maintains its equilibrium. Imagine the nervous system sensing these signals, translating chemical messages into sensations and energy flows. Your brain interprets these messages, adjusting appetite, energy expenditure, and even mood. When you move, when you exercise, fat participates in the process, releasing stored energy to fuel muscles, enhancing circulation, and supporting each motion with silent diligence. Even during rest, fat communicates with the brain, guiding metabolic rhythms and preparing energy for essential processes like cell repair and immune function. Now consider the evolutionary perspective. Fat has been vital for survival for thousands of years. In the past, energy was not always abundant. Fat allowed the body to store nutrients for periods of scarcity, to maintain warmth in cold environments, to protect organs from impact, and to regulate hormones necessary for reproduction and survival. It was a silent guardian, a resilient ally, and even today, fat continues to fulfill these roles, supporting life with patience and intelligence. Bodies evolve to hold these reserves precisely, understanding that energy, warmth, and protection are vital to sustained survival. Imagine the layers of fat as a soft, intricate landscape beneath your skin. Each layer, each cell, has its purpose. Subcutaneous fat cushions and supports, visceral fat protects and communicates, brown fat generates heat and energy, and white fat stores nutrients. Each interacts with muscles, organs, and bones in subtle, continuous patterns. Each responds to activity, to rest, to nourishment, to stress, and to calm. Every breath you take, every movement, every thought of awareness strengthens this interaction, helping your body maintain balance and function with quiet, effortless precision. Visualize now the foods you consume, how they gently influence fat, how the nutrients enter your body and are absorbed into these cells. Healthy fats from fish, nuts, seeds, and avocado nourish your brain and heart, improve hormone signaling, and support cellular repair. Saturated and trans fats are absorbed differently, sometimes more slowly, sometimes requiring your body to adjust. But even these are processed with care, integrated into the ongoing rhythm of energy and metabolism. Fat is patient, adaptive, and responsive, supporting your life continuously, whether you are awake or asleep, moving or resting. As you inhale, imagine energy entering your body, flowing into each fat cell, being stored safely, and prepared to support your organs and muscles. As you exhale, imagine tension, stress, and old patterns gently dissolving, leaving the body calm, balanced, and responsive. This is the natural rhythm of fat in your body, absorbing, storing, releasing, and communicating in a quiet, intelligent dialogue with every organ, every system, every cell. Consider now the interplay between fat and exercise. Movement prompts fat cells to release energy, fueling muscles, joints, and the nervous system. Even slow walking, gentle stretching, or subtle motions activate these cells, creating waves of metabolic signals that enhance circulation, hormone balance, and overall vitality. Fat responds with intelligence and patience, releasing energy when needed, absorbing it when rest or nourishment is required, always maintaining equilibrium. As you drift deeper, notice the emotional dimension of fat. It responds not only to food and movement, but also to stress, relaxation, and emotional patterns. Fat cells produce hormones that influence mood, appetite, and energy levels. When you are calm, they absorb energy gently. When you are stressed, they release energy to prepare your body for action. Each interaction is subtle, continuous, and part of a dialogue between your mind, body, and environment. Fat participates in this conversation patiently, never forcing, always adapting, always supporting your well-being. Imagine the body at night, resting deeply. Fat participates in sleep cycles, helping regulate hormone release, maintaining warmth, and providing energy for essential repair processes. It works quietly to support the brain, heart, muscles, and immune system, ensuring that each organ functions optimally as you drift through the cycles of sleep. This is not something you need to consciously manage. It happens naturally, effortlessly, and with perfect precision, a testament to the quiet intelligence of your body. As you continue to explore, notice how fat, in its many forms and functions, supports life in ways that are often invisible but profoundly essential. It cushions, nourishes, communicates, stores energy, produces warmth, and participates in metabolic and hormonal balance. It is patient, responsive, and adaptive, a vital component of your body's quiet, continuous symphony of life. Every moment of calm awareness deepens your understanding of this. Every gentle breath strengthens the dialogue, and every thought of presence allows your body to fulfill its purpose effortlessly and gracefully. As you continue to drift deeper into this serene awareness, let your thoughts linger on the subtle ways fat interacts with metabolism. Fat is not merely stored energy. It is an active participant in the orchestration of your body's energy balance. It senses when energy is needed, releasing it slowly and steadily to fuel muscles, organs, and even the brain. Imagine each fat cell as a tiny reservoir, responsive to the rhythm of your life, capable of releasing bursts of energy when you move, when you think, or when you simply need to maintain warmth and balance. This constant, quiet activity ensures that your body can function smoothly, even when you are still or asleep, providing a steady background of support that is almost invisible yet profoundly essential. Picture the different types of fat within your body. White fat, the most familiar, stores energy and produces hormones that communicate with your organs and brain. Brown fat, more active and thermogenic, generates heat and helps regulate metabolism, especially in colder environments or during physical activity. Beige fat, somewhere in between, can adapt and respond to your lifestyle and environmental cues. These layers of fat work together like an orchestra, each section playing its part to maintain the harmony of energy flow, temperature regulation, and metabolic balance. Every breath you take, every gentle stretch, every moment of awareness influences this intricate performance. Consider how fat interacts with aging. Over time, the distribution and function of fat change. In younger bodies, fat tends to be more responsive, supporting energy demands efficiently, cushioning joints, and participating fully in hormonal communication. As the years pass, fat may become less adaptable, storing more stubbornly in certain areas, communicating differently with the immune system, and subtly altering metabolic rhythms. Yet even as these changes occur, awareness, movement, and mindful nutrition can guide fat to continue supporting your body gently and intelligently. Imagine your cells adjusting slowly, adapting to your habits, learning from your calm presence, and responding with a rhythm that encourages resilience rather than resistance. Fat also plays a profound role in emotional and mental health. Hormones produced by fat, such as leptin and adiponectin, influence appetite, mood, and even cognitive clarity. These signals travel through your bloodstream, reaching the brain, guiding hunger, satiety, and emotional regulation. Imagine each fat cell whispering gentle instructions, adjusting your energy levels, and supporting your mental state. When you are calm, when your breath is steady, these signals align in harmony, supporting focus, clarity, and a sense of balance. When stress rises, fat participates in preparing your body for action, releasing energy and signaling alertness. This dialogue between fat and emotion is constant, subtle, and crucial for overall well-being. Now visualize the relationship between fat and exercise in even greater detail. Every movement you make, whether walking, stretching, or engaging in more vigorous activity, encourages fat to release energy in measured, purposeful ways. Muscles contract and relax, blood flows more freely. And fat cells respond by supplying the fuel needed for smooth, coordinated motion. Each step, each stretch, each gentle exertion sends ripples through the body, signaling fat to contribute to strength, endurance, and resilience. This relationship is adaptive, intelligent, and harmonious, a dynamic exchange that supports both movement and long-term health. As your inner landscape deepens, allow yourself to notice how fat integrates with sleep. During rest, fat supports the regulation of hormones such as insulin, cortisol, and growth hormone, ensuring repair, balance, and restoration. Fat participates silently in the cycles of deep sleep, contributing to metabolic stability, temperature regulation, and cellular repair. Imagine layers of fat gently working through the night, supporting every system, cushioning every organ, and maintaining the balance necessary for vitality when you awaken. Each breath you take, each slow heartbeat, is part of this quiet, continuous support. Now reflect on fat's role in immunity. It is not only energy storage, but also a communicator with immune cells. Cytokines and adipokines produced by fat inform immune responses, guiding inflammation, signaling repair, and modulating the body's reaction to stressors. Picture these signals moving through the bloodstream like subtle currents, reaching the cells that maintain your body's defenses. When you are relaxed and present, this communication becomes more balanced, supporting healing and resilience. Even small movements, gentle stretches, or slow, mindful breathing influence these signals, allowing fat to guide immunity gently and effectively. As you explore deeper, imagine the physical presence of fat as a soft, warm landscape throughout your body. It cushions joints, protects organs, and smooths the transitions between muscles, bones, and skin. Each layer has its own texture, responsiveness, and purpose, adapting continuously to your movements, your energy use, and your emotional state. Visualize your body as a living, breathing system of interconnected tissues, where fat acts as both a protector and communicator, quietly adjusting, responding, and supporting. Think also about nutrition and its influence on fat. Nutrients, minerals, and vitamins from the foods you eat are absorbed and stored in part within fat, allowing energy to be released when needed and signaling to other systems how to respond. Imagine the gentle flow of nourishment through your fat cells, supporting metabolic rhythm, cognitive clarity, and emotional balance. Every mindful choice, every nutrient-rich bite, supports this continuous dialogue, allowing your body to function with intelligence, patience, and harmony. As you breathe in, picture energy and nourishment flowing through your fat, circulating to every cell and every system. As you exhale, imagine tension, old habits, and stress dissolving, leaving your body calm, balanced, and receptive. Fat is a quiet partner in your health, a patient and responsive tissue that participates in every moment, every movement, every breath. Each moment of awareness deepens your understanding of this, and every gentle movement reinforces the supportive relationship between your mind, body, and fat. As you continue to settle deeper into this gentle awareness, allow yourself to explore fat not just as tissue, but as a dynamic, living partner in your body's ongoing story. Imagine the layers of fat beneath your skin, around your organs, and nestled between muscles, each one responding to subtle shifts in your posture, your energy, and even your mood. Fat is not passive. It listens, communicates, and adapts. It stores energy for times of need, cushions delicate structures from the impact of movement, and secretes hormones that subtly influence appetite, metabolism, and emotion. Consider leptin, a hormone produced by fat that signals your brain when you have enough energy, regulating hunger and satiety. Imagine this as a soft, continuous conversation between your fat cells and your mind, guiding balance and rhythm without force, without urgency, simply supporting life in its quiet, patient way. Think about the different kinds of fat and how they each play their role in the body's harmony. White fat, the familiar energy reserve, stores calories efficiently, protecting you against periods of scarcity. Brown fat, more metabolically active, generates heat, supporting body temperature and energy expenditure, especially in cooler environments. Beige fat, a flexible intermediary, can adapt to lifestyle and environmental influences, converting from one form to another as needed. Picture these fat types as different instruments in a symphony, each contributing its unique tone to the ongoing melody of your metabolism. Each breath, each movement, even the gentle rhythm of your heartbeat, cues them to respond, harmonizing function with need. As your awareness deepens, consider the role of fat in aging. Over time, fat distribution shifts, signaling changes in hormonal patterns and metabolic efficiency. Subcutaneous fat may diminish in certain areas, while visceral fat increases around internal organs. These shifts can influence energy balance, insulin sensitivity, and inflammatory signaling. Yet even in these changes, fat retains its fundamental purpose: to protect, to store, and to communicate. Imagine your cells adapting slowly, responding to your habits, your movements, and your mindful awareness. Even as time passes, fat continues to play its role, supporting every system in the body in a measured, patient, and responsive way. Think about the emotional dialogue of fat. Fat cells release adipokines, chemical messengers that influence mood, stress responses, and cognitive function. Leptin and adiponectin, two of the most studied adipokines, guide hunger and satiety, modulate inflammation, and even impact the function of neurons. Imagine these signals flowing silently, like gentle currents, moving through your bloodstream to guide not just your body, but also your emotional and cognitive states. As you breathe slowly, notice how awareness and calmness can harmonize these signals, encouraging a sense of balance and clarity. Every conscious breath, every gentle stretch, every small movement contributes to this ongoing dialogue between fat, brain, and body. Now envision fat's intimate relationship with physical activity. Each movement you make, whether walking, stretching, lifting, or simply standing, triggers fat to release energy efficiently. Muscles contract and relax, requiring fuel, and fat responds, supplying it with precision. Consider the gentle unfolding of energy from fat cells as you move. It is neither hurried nor chaotic, but a patient, steady contribution to each motion. Each step, each stretch, and each rhythmic breath cues this subtle partnership, reinforcing strength, endurance, and balance. As you drift further into awareness, think about fat and sleep. During deep, restorative sleep, fat continues to support the body's intricate rhythms. Hormones such as growth hormone, insulin, and cortisol are regulated in part through signals from fat, assisting cellular repair, metabolic stability, and immune balance. Picture these processes happening softly, silently, beneath the surface, allowing your body to rest and rejuvenate fully. Each inhale deepens nourishment, each exhale releases tension, and fat participates gently, contributing to restoration, balance, and long-term vitality. Consider also fat's role in immunity. Fat cells produce cytokines and other signaling molecules that communicate with immune cells, influencing inflammation, repair, and defense. Imagine this as a network of soft currents flowing through the body, gently informing the immune system, preparing it to respond effectively while maintaining balance. Awareness, calmness, and slow, steady breathing can enhance this dialogue, allowing fat to guide immune function in a patient, responsive manner. Every small gesture, stretching, mindful movement, or slow breath reinforces this supportive connection, aligning body and mind in harmony. Now let your attention drift to fat as a structural presence. Layers of fat cushion joints, protect organs, and integrate seamlessly with muscles and skin. These layers adapt to the forces you exert, the posture you maintain, and the movements you make. Imagine this soft landscape flowing gently beneath your skin, moving with grace, adjusting to your energy, and communicating with other tissues to maintain equilibrium. Fat is not just a storage site. It is an active participant in the body's resilience, flexibility, and overall harmony. Think also about nutrition and its impact on fat. Nutrients, vitamins, and minerals from food interact with fat, influencing hormone release, energy storage, and metabolic function. Picture each healthy, mindful bite as sending a ripple through your fat, providing fuel, supporting communication, and reinforcing balance. As you breathe deeply and calmly, visualize the nourishment circulating through these tissues, supporting every cell, every organ, every system with precision and care. Fat is a conduit for life, energy, and sustenance, quietly performing its vital roles while you rest, move, and exist. Finally, reflect on the way fat integrates all these roles: energy storage, structural support, hormonal communication, metabolic balance, emotional influence, immune function, and response to activity. Imagine all these layers, signals, and currents flowing together like a gentle river, patient, resilient, and intelligent. Each breath deepens your awareness, each heartbeat reinforces the rhythm, and each moment of calm encourages harmony within your body. Fat is more than tissue. It is a subtle, responsive, and indispensable partner in the symphony of your health, supporting life in ways both visible and invisible, tangible and hidden, quiet yet profound. As you settle further into this gentle exploration, allow yourself to feel the intricate balance that fat provides within the body, and how it works in concert with every system around it. Picture the flowing network of blood vessels running through fat, carrying oxygen, nutrients, and chemical signals, gently connecting one layer of tissue to another. Each adipocyte, or fat cell, hums with quiet activity, communicating with neighboring cells and distant organs. These conversations guide metabolism, influence inflammation, and help maintain the energy reserves you need for both movement and rest. Fat is not isolated. It is fully integrated into the living, breathing system of your body, responsive to both your conscious choices and unconscious rhythms. Consider the connection between fat and the cardiovascular system. Subcutaneous and visceral fat both influence how the heart, arteries, and veins function. While excess visceral fat can challenge the cardiovascular system, moderate, balanced fat layers protect organs, support blood flow, and act as an energy buffer during periods of activity. Imagine the subtle warmth and pulse of blood moving through these tissues, interacting with fat, signaling through hormones like leptin and adiponectin, and quietly maintaining equilibrium. Each heartbeat is a gentle reminder that fat is a participant, not an obstacle, in the ongoing orchestration of life within your body. Now drift into the relationship between fat and the brain. Fat communicates with the brain through complex hormonal and chemical pathways, influencing mood, cognition, appetite, and energy balance. Picture these signals as soft pulses moving along invisible threads, each one guiding thought, feeling, and sensation. Fat interacts with neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, gently nudging your mind toward feelings of fullness, alertness, or calmness. Each breath you take, each moment of mindfulness, can subtly enhance these signals, creating harmony between your physical and emotional self. Fat is part of the brain's extended network, a quiet partner in thought, emotion, and the daily rhythms of life. Imagine also how fat impacts longevity and resilience. Fat stores energy efficiently, providing a buffer against unexpected stress or scarcity. It releases hormones that influence repair mechanisms, immune function, and metabolic regulation. Envision this as a gentle, slow river flowing through your body, nourishing organs, muscles, and cells, helping them repair and adapt. Every movement you make, every stretch, every slow, conscious breath encourages this river to flow smoothly, reinforcing health and vitality over time. Fat's role is subtle but profound, supporting the longevity of both structure and function in your body. As you explore further, picture the emotional dimensions of fat. Fat cells release adipokines that communicate not only with organs but with the nervous system, influencing stress response, mood, and emotional resilience. Imagine these chemical messengers moving quietly through your bloodstream, adjusting the body's internal state, guiding balance, and responding to both external stimuli and internal awareness. Each breath, each calm exhale, each stretch or gentle movement encourages harmony in these pathways, allowing both body and mind to feel supported. Fat is not only physical tissue, it is a mediator of subtle, deeply felt processes that influence how you move, feel, and experience life. Now drift deeper into the structural aspect of fat. Visualize the layers beneath the skin, each one soft, pliable, and resilient. They cushion your joints during movement, support your organs, and integrate seamlessly with muscles and connective tissue. Imagine the way these layers adapt as you move, bend, and shift your body, responding not with rigidity but with subtle elasticity. This dynamic tissue absorbs shock, supports balance, and communicates through pressure, hormones, and neural signals. Every breath deepens your awareness of these interactions. Every small movement enhances the conversation, and every moment of calm reinforces the resilience inherent in these tissues. Consider nutrition and fat once more, imagining the way each nutrient interacts with these cells. Healthy fats, vitamins, and minerals provide signals and energy to support cellular function. Imagine these nutrients traveling with the blood, entering fat cells, and participating in the slow, precise orchestration of energy storage, hormonal communication, and metabolic regulation. Every conscious choice, every mindful bite, every moment of awareness encourages these processes to function in harmony. Fat is not passive. It is a responsive, adaptive partner, supporting every system in your body from the inside out. Finally, envision the integration of all these roles. Fat stores energy, cushions structures, communicates hormonally, supports metabolism, influences mood, interacts with the brain, aids immune function, and contributes to repair and resilience. Picture all these elements flowing together like a gentle tide, each movement reinforcing balance, each breath deepening awareness, each moment of calm enhancing the natural, quiet intelligence of your body. Fat is a living, responsive, and indispensable companion in your journey of life, quietly sustaining your systems, harmonizing with your movements, and supporting both physical and emotional well-being. As you continue to settle into this quiet exploration, allow your attention to drift toward the interplay between fat and movement. Imagine your body as a soft, pliable instrument, each layer of fat integrating seamlessly with muscles, tendons, and joints. When you stretch, bend, or move, fat cushions and supports, absorbing subtle shocks and distributing pressure evenly. Visualize the gentle sway of these tissues as you walk or stand, the layers adjusting with grace and responsiveness. Each movement is an intimate conversation between structure and energy, a whispering dialogue that reinforces both stability and flexibility. Fat is not inert. It responds to your body's rhythm, adapting in real time, flowing with every breath and every step. Consider the way fat interacts with metabolism. Imagine hormones such as leptin and adiponectin flowing quietly through your bloodstream, sending signals that influence appetite, energy storage, and even inflammation. These chemical messengers are subtle guides, helping your body determine when to conserve energy and when to release it. Picture them traveling with the blood, communicating with organs, muscles, and the brain, a soft symphony of chemical signals orchestrating balance within. Each breath, each moment of stillness, each mindful movement allows this communication to unfold smoothly, reinforcing harmony between your tissues, your organs, and your mind. Now drift into the relationship between fat and the immune system. Visualize the quiet vigilance of adipose tissue, releasing signals that modulate inflammation, repair, and cellular communication. Fat acts as a mediator, supporting the body's defense while maintaining equilibrium. Imagine the way your immune cells glide past fat cells, interacting and exchanging signals, maintaining a calm and balanced environment. Every deep breath you take, every exhale that softens tension, encourages these interactions to proceed with fluidity and ease. Fat is not just storage. It is a responsive, active participant in your body's ongoing maintenance and protection. Turn your attention next to the emotional and cognitive dimensions of fat. Imagine the gentle chemical signals that adipose tissue releases influencing your mood, your stress response, and your mental clarity. Picture these signals moving through your bloodstream, subtly affecting the brain's circuits, guiding thought, emotion, and perception. Each breath, each pause, each mindful acknowledgement of your body's state enhances this intricate dialogue. Fat is not simply a physical presence. It is woven into the very fabric of your physiological and emotional experience, helping to shape how you feel, think, and interact with the world. Visualize the slow flow of fat's influence over time, adapting with age, activity, and lifestyle. The layers respond to changes in diet, exercise, and movement, shifting subtly to support joints, store energy, and maintain balance. Imagine the elastic resilience of these tissues as you move, stretch, and rest, each shift an echo of the body's intelligence. Fat stores history in a quiet, understated way, reflecting past nourishment, activity, and even stress. Every breath, every subtle stretch, every mindful movement encourages these tissues to remain responsive, flexible, and integrated. Consider the deeper connection between fat and sleep. Picture how quality rest allows the body to regulate hormones, repair tissue, and balance energy stores. During sleep, fat cells engage in quiet activity, releasing and receiving signals that affect metabolism, inflammation, and hormonal rhythms. Each cycle of sleep supports these processes, allowing the body to restore, recalibrate, and maintain equilibrium. Visualize the gentle ebb and flow of these cycles as a quiet river, moving steadily through your body, nourishing every cell, every tissue, every organ, and every layer of fat. Sleep enhances fat's natural intelligence, allowing it to participate fully in your ongoing balance and well-being. Now drift toward nutrition, imagining the foods you consume interacting with fat in dynamic, responsive ways. Healthy fats, vitamins, and nutrients enter adipose tissue, supporting cellular function, hormonal balance, and metabolic efficiency. Picture each molecule traveling through your bloodstream, entering fat cells, and contributing to the subtle symphony of energy storage and release. Every mindful choice strengthens this system, allowing your body to function with quiet precision. Fat is not simply something you carry. It is a responsive, adaptive partner that thrives on balance, awareness, and gentle care. Finally, allow your attention to embrace the holistic view of fat, integrating its physical, metabolic, cognitive, emotional, and restorative functions. Imagine all these processes flowing together like a slow, harmonious tide, each breath deepening awareness, each movement reinforcing resilience, and each moment of calm allowing your body's intelligence to flourish. Fat is a living, breathing participant in your health, a quiet supporter of balance, a responsive partner in your movement, your rest, and your emotional experience. Every gentle thought, every mindful breath, every slow stretch deepens the connection between your consciousness and these responsive tissues, encouraging harmony throughout your entire system. As you continue to drift deeper into this quiet, reflective space, allow your mind to consider the relationship between fat and stress. Imagine the subtle ways your body responds to tension, to anxiety, to the weight of daily life. Fat is part of that conversation. It holds traces of cortisol, the hormone that rises when you feel stress, quietly affecting metabolism, energy storage, and even the way your body responds to future stress. Picture these molecules moving softly through your bloodstream, interacting with cells, organs, and your nervous system, a delicate dialogue that rarely demands your attention, yet shapes your experience. Each breath you take allows these signals to slow, to soften, to recalibrate, and every exhale gently carries away a fragment of tension, giving your body permission to relax. Consider the way fat changes with age. Visualize the gentle accumulation of tissue over years, the way layers shift, redistribute, and adapt to support muscles, joints, and organs. Younger bodies may store fat differently, more responsive to activity, more readily mobilized for energy. Older bodies carry these layers in patterns shaped by a lifetime of movement, nutrition, and experience. Imagine these tissues as a quiet record of your body's history, each layer reflecting adaptations to your lifestyle, your environment, your challenges, and your resilience. With gentle awareness, you allow your mind and body to honor these changes without judgment, appreciating the subtle wisdom contained within these soft, responsive tissues. Now, turn your attention to fat as it relates to long-term health. Picture the ways in which balanced, responsive adipose tissue supports metabolic function, protects vital organs, cushions joints, and contributes to hormonal balance. Imagine the slow, rhythmic work happening inside your body as fat interacts with insulin, leptin, and other signals, quietly regulating energy, appetite, and inflammatory responses. Each breath reinforces this process, each moment of stillness encourages harmony, and every mindful action nurtures the balance that allows your body to function efficiently. Fat is not the enemy. It is a responsive participant in your well-being, quietly assisting in the maintenance of equilibrium throughout your body. Visualize the intricate layers of fat as they wrap around muscles, bones, and organs, cushioning and supporting with a subtle elegance. Imagine moving your attention through these layers, sensing how they respond to posture, motion, and the gentle pull of gravity. Each layer flows softly over the next, providing stability without rigidity, mobility without strain. The deeper you breathe, the more aware you become of the quiet, almost imperceptible work happening as these tissues absorb pressure, release energy, and integrate with muscles and connective tissue. Fat is a living network, quietly shaping how your body moves, rests, and interacts with the world. Drift further into the emotional dimension of fat. Imagine the signals it sends to your brain, influencing mood, stress response, and even subtle cognitive functions. Each molecule is part of a vast, intricate network of communication, linking body and mind in ways that are slow, gentle, and often unnoticed. Visualize these signals moving like soft currents through your system, influencing neural pathways, hormonal rhythms, and subtle emotional states. Every conscious breath deepens this dialogue, every mindful pause allows the body to integrate and respond, and every gentle stretch encourages balance, creating a seamless flow between mind, body, and tissue. Consider now the synergy between fat, movement, and nourishment. Imagine the foods you consume as gentle messengers, entering the bloodstream, being carried to adipose tissue, and supporting cellular function and energy balance. Healthy fats from nuts, seeds, fish, and oils nourish cells, maintain hormonal balance, and enhance metabolic resilience. Visualize each molecule traveling gracefully to its destination, participating in the quiet work of energy storage, repair, and communication. Every mindful choice strengthens this system, supporting your body's natural rhythms and the soft, subtle intelligence of fat tissue. Reflect on sleep and its vital connection to fat. Picture the deep cycles of rest as waves washing over your tissues, allowing hormonal signals to balance, metabolism to regulate, and energy stores to adjust. Fat participates actively in this nocturnal process, responding to signals from the brain, the pancreas, and the liver, supporting repair, regulation, and equilibrium. Imagine the gentle ebb and flow of these cycles, synchronized with your breath, your heartbeat, your awareness. Sleep and fat collaborate quietly, enhancing restoration, supporting long-term health, and ensuring that your body awakens refreshed, balanced, and ready for movement and thought. Now allow yourself to drift into an even broader perspective, considering the role of fat in adaptation and resilience. Imagine how these tissues respond to challenges, to changes in temperature, activity, diet, and lifestyle. They shift, adapt, and redistribute as needed, providing protection, cushioning, and energy precisely when required. Visualize this adaptability as a gentle, living intelligence, responding moment by moment, cycle by cycle, day by day. Fat is more than a passive substance. It is an active, responsive partner in the ongoing maintenance of your body's structure, function, and harmony. As you continue this gentle exploration, allow your awareness to integrate all these threads: the physical, the metabolic, the emotional, the restorative, the adaptive. Picture your body as a unified field, every layer of fat working in concert with muscles, bones, organs, and mind. Each breath deepens connection, each movement encourages fluidity, each moment of stillness allows communication to proceed with grace. Fat, once misunderstood, becomes a quiet ally, a participant in the rhythm of life, a living presence supporting health, resilience, and balance.